Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are looking at the twin battle gun. So, um, twin battle gun Whirlwind. I'm sorry, I kind of missed the last part there. All right, the twin battle gun Whirlwind was first released in the United States in 1983, also sold in '84, but unfortunately was discontinued in 1985. So, looking at what we have here at GIJoe.com, we have a lot of nice views to this. This to me looks like a GI Joe modernization of our kind of field artillery in a lot of regards. That's my take on it, and it looks pretty good. But there again, keeping in mind when we're looking at a lot of the stuff that comes out, especially in the cartoon, it's all lasers. So if you're not worrying about the recoil or whatever, and having the side view here, I mean, you can easily have someone sit there and just kind of wail away with laser blasts. I The only thing I'm going to say is you would almost expect to see a spot where we could actually hook up a generator or something here off to the side. But for imaginary play and everything else, it does work pretty good. I'm not complaining too much. It's all in fun. Okay, and of course we have some sort of like view screen here. We do have the seat and the controls sitting there. Um, this is another one of those wonderful vehicles that we could have tow behind, say like our Vamp or some of the other uh, bigger vehicles. So giving us extra firepower, someone to have this dropped off as a Sentry vehicle and go from there. Okay, kind of sneaking on through here. And as you can see, I mean, this is meant to be turreted around. So you can drop it, put the wheels down like that, which I don't know how easy that would be. But anyways, you could do that for support and then just use it as a Sentry vehicle, really. Okay, here's a nice look at it. And again, it's got it twisted all the way around here. Um, with our rudimentary controls, this actually gives us a really good view of everything here. And yeah, it is a wonderfully good looking vehicle. Um, it helps expand everything that we get out of GI Joe. So no complaints there. Having small pieces like this, for those of us that our parents wouldn't get us the big stuff or whatever, was always fun and wonderful. We can make our own little bases out of cardboard boxes or whatever. So the machine gun covers are removable and can sometimes be lost. Also, the wheels of the whirlwind can be locked into a rolling position or lowered into a shooting position. Beware of the broken wheels. Because unfortunately, those of us kids, we don't play with it as delicate as we sometimes should be. We think it is actual military stuff. And here we have Gun Ho running from Rattler, and obviously it looks like he was using one of those, and that is out of Sunbow. So we do actually get to see it being used for its very good intended purpose here. And our second picture is from one of the old file cards. So this twin-barreled weapon with the command seat for 360-degree rotation by the use of thumb screws. Okay, and this is supposed to have twin 20 millimeter armor piercing main gun systems. Now, my recollection is the 20 millimeter was a very common round that was being used um, with flak rounds. And I don't know exactly the way that flak rounds go. I think there's like a height or whatever that it just gets used. And then I think they were using 20 millimeter way back in World War II with a flak round that they would just shoot up and then it would just get up to that certain range area. It wasn't the kind of like best set. It was just it hit a certain range, and some would go off a little higher, some a little lower, but um, it would just wreak havoc on airplanes. So That's my recollection. Now, if I'm right or wrong, I'm not 100. I can't say 100% certainty on this, but it is some of those things. So that pops into my little noggin here um, as I'm trying to think how to properly explain myself. Okay, let's see. Quite often it may have been pulled behind the Vamp or the Jungle Terrier, and of course we have the vehicle, the twin battle gun itself. All right, in Europe and in Argentina, they had some slightly different box art and two different versions. So in '83, we had our standard, and then we had the Jungle Terror twin battle gun in 2010. So essentially recasting it from the old molds, giving it a different color, and kind of relaunching the whole thing. It is a wonderful look to the old vessel. Um, I don't know exactly really how to call it because it's something that gets towed behind. So um, we were using 25 millimeter in our Bradley, so having a 20 millimeter sitting there and two cannons of it, not the funnest thing. Like I said, if we're using 20 millimeter, I would expect to see some sort of ammo. Um, it can be done off of a chain gun, so that's not a big deal there. But we would need some sort of ammo boxes of some sort to be able to get that in there. Most notably, I do remember on the old World War II warships, you would have one or two guys. They would be holding maybe like 8 or 10 rounds, and for like a top mount, they would be sitting there trying to constantly reload a single cannon. So um, twin cannons, if it was like flak or something like that, just try and keep things knocked down fine. I do know that somebody else, I think it was Analog Toys, um, he was doing a review for Big Ben. They gave Big Ben a double barreled, like an M16 or something like that. And that's one of the things that's been very common with GIJoe throughout the years. Um, Not a real big sense to it. And really, you lose a lot of accuracy because you're trying to aim between two different barrels. And if there's something goofy with one, you have one zinging off on one side while the other one might be perfectly straight. And you're just chewing through ammo left and right for a ground trooper. Where on something like this, like I said, if it is a flak cannon or you're trying to shoot at a moving airplane or something like that, twin cannons might work perfectly fine. Um, to say you're aiming the best with one compared to two, you know, maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, so we'll switch on over here. All right. So um, as we're looking at this, bringing this into our Star Wars game here, um, I did give it a speeder scale. It's about 20 feet long, 6 meters. Has a crew of one, no passengers, no cargo capacity. You do have one half coverage sitting in here. It is, of course, altitude of ground range, no maneuverability. It's a towed vehicle. Has a body strength of 2D at speeder scale. Okay, I gave it twin medium repeating blaster cannons. I should probably, well, blasters at speeder scale. Um, it is turreted. As you can see here, it is said to be at speeder scale. We're sitting with a fire control of 1D. And the reason why I gave it a 1D is when you have two cannons that are sitting, they're a little bit wider apart, you know, sometimes it's not the best. And I figured maybe our sights aren't the greatest here, seeing that we're trying to do this. I'm sure everything's going to be rattling if you're shooting. Um, and I give it a damage of 5D. I thought that was pretty respectable for a towed vehicle. Um, I think that kind of gives it a good range here. We do have a far range for this. Maybe it's a little long, maybe it's not, I don't know. I figured that's a good range kind of capacity. I think some of this actually came from the range itself had come from what they were seeing when I was looking at some of the finer stats and that from the file cards on GIJoe.com. Because, like I said, when I was creating all this, I was trying to keep it as close as I could to the G.I. Joe lore, but then to try and bring it into the Star Wars kind of franchise naming of things, and um, kind of follow between the two of them. I want the flavor of G.I. Joe to feel like you're doing a G.I. Joe, even if you're in a Star Wars universe. But there again, if you're saying you're still on a Earth type planet and you don't really leave the Earth, um, we do have what they have, Space Station Delta for a couple episodes or whatever. It's not saying that we couldn't go out to space or whatever, but we weren't going as far. But when we start bringing our planes and making them into starfighters, yes, we can get all the way up there. So what boundaries you want to put onto your world here, I don't know. Or if you're using the other scenarios that I threw out there, that maybe this is another planet that's been kind of brought into the galactic universe as a whole, and it is a more primitive, but still trying to get up to their. We're upgrading our planes, upgrading our weapons from being ammo based to more laser based. If this is during like the Separatist War, um, and it's being run by a Jedi general that has you guys doing whatever. I think this still fits. There's different avenues that we can do here, and having stuff like this really works. Yeah, it's a towed vehicle in a time when there's a lot of speeders, but if you look at it, there's enough Separatist vehicles that are either walkers or they're wheeled or whatever. The Empire itself actually has a number of wheeled vehicles. So it's not saying that all this stuff is kind of cast off to the wayside and everything is a hover vehicle. Sometimes there's a great need to say we just need a basic wheeled vehicle. It's dirt cheap, and then we can get things going. So this stuff does work out pretty well in my mind. So with that being said, thanks for watching. I always appreciate you visiting. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.